Leadership is to take action in a way that adds value to someone else. One of the issues with becoming more senior in an organization is you become more isolated. Now, most people, including me, say, I'm not isolated, I'm the same person I was. Well, once you get a bigger and bigger title, trust me, people are, as I said earlier, are not looking to give you bad news or tell you did something dumb. You get more isolated, whether you know it or not. A lot of leaders don't realize how isolated they are, which means your blind spots get bigger. What do you do to break through that? Well, I talked about building relationships with people, but one way to also do it is do meeting with your subordinates and doing skip level meetings. When you're a younger person or earlier in your career, the people coaching you tend to be people from above. As you move up the organization, even if you're CEO of a big company, the board of directors, they'll do their best, but they don't really observe you other than board meetings and you're on your best behavior. The people who observe you every day are your subordinates, okay? They're observing you. Those are the people you need to seek advice from, share information with, get their views. But because there's an asymmetry, as I talked about, between the power of a boss and a subordinate, if you're sitting in your office waiting for people to come in and tell you things you need to hear but maybe don't want to hear, it ain't gonna happen. You need to invite them in. You need to take the initiative because people are looking to see whether you're open to it. So that means your direct reports, you need to sit in your office. You don't need to go to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you need to sit in your office and get their feedback. And you need to tell them, and in particular, I always ask in every meeting, can you tell me one or two things that I need to do better? And it has to be done, by the way, one-on-one. If you're meeting with people three-on-one, they will not tell you a thing because they're not going to say it in front of their peers, especially something toward you. It has to be one-on-one, and you have to sometimes pull them into it. And the first time you ask, can you give me one or two things I need to do better, their response can be, nothing I can think of. I think you're doing fine. Say, no, I'm serious. And they say, well, still nothing I can think of. And then you say the third time, I'm really serious, it's gotta be one or two things. And then they say, yeah, no, nothing. And you say, you were gonna say something. Seems like you were gonna say something. And no, come on. Yeah, and they realize, okay, darn it. And then they tell you this thing, and it's devastating, or it feels devastating. They don't mean it to be, but it's a real criticism. And the reason it's devastating is you know it's probably right, and it's a problem. And the second they tell you they regret that they said it, and they're looking at whether they still have a job or not, or a career, your job is to go, ugh, and not act like it. Thank them. Let them leave your office. Probably call a loved one and ask them for reality check, which the loved one will tell you this person's probably right. And you go, ugh, can't believe this. But you'll learn something and you will improve. They will go tell all their peers that they just gave you advice and you actually did something about it if they see you act, and it will become contagious and they'll realize that you're open. And eventually, if you do this enough, and I found this in my group, people will come to talk and come see you unilaterally, and it'll keep you out of trouble. The other advice I would give is do this with your direct reports, but then I call it skip level meetings. I used to do 5 or 10 interviews a week with people all throughout the organization. You can be curated, whatever, high potentials, and I would always ask 3 questions. Why do you work here? What do you love about the place? What makes you crazy about the place? What aggravates you? They can always answer that. And what advice would you have for me about 1 or 2 things I need to do better? And you will get amazing feedback, and you will learn a lot about what some of the issues are in the organization. You will start to develop themes, because if one person raises an issue, 20 people may raise the same issue, and you're going to realize there's an issue in the organization. That helps, again, break through blind spots, reduce your isolation, and give you a much better sense on how to manage the organization. These are little tricks, but you got to learn. This is about managing down, getting coaching from below. Direct reports, where you're asking questions, skip level meetings will go a long way to helping you figure out whether you're progressing on vision, priorities, and alignment, and what you maybe need to do differently to help improve the performance of the organization.